Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Welcome to my monthly video on the best board game expansions coming to retail. I am sneaking it in right before the end of the month. This is for September. I was at the World Series of Board Games. If you were there competing, I hope you did all right. I hope you had a good time. And if we played a game together, I had a great time. I love playing games with folks. Sorry this is coming late in the month, but this is when I was able to get it out. We don't have a lot of expansions coming to retail this month, but we do have some good expansions coming to retail this month. So, as always, I hope you find something that you're excited about in this video. Alright, let's get into the games. First up this month, Arcane Wonders is releasing Aquatica Coral Reefs. Aquatica is an awesome game. It's a game I love. It was in my top 10 the year it came out, maybe like 4 years ago. It was in my top 10 for that year. It is an engine building game where you're getting these cards and then literally sliding the cards up into the board, and as you slide them up, you're gaining bonuses along the edge of the card. And those bonuses will help you buy more cards, will help you get you more special abilities, help you do more things. And it's just a really unique and cool engine building system. If you've never checked out Aquatica, it is one I highly, highly recommend. Well, Aquatica Coral Reefs is the second expansion for the game Aquatica. Plays 1 to 4 players in about an hour, and it is a medium weight game. This expansion is called Coral Reefs because it adds these coral reef tiles. So when you select certain cards, there will be a coral reef tile associated with that card, and then you're assigning that to one of the locations on your board, and that's going to get you a special ability for that location. There's also literal, molded coral reef pieces, and those coral reef pieces are going to be worth extra points at the end of the game, so there's a way to get those. It allows you to defend certain locations. If you want a card, you can defend that card and nobody else can buy it. You have to do that by placing one of your manta rays on it, so you're not getting the benefit of the manta ray. You're sort of sacrificing that, but to kind of reserve a card. There's also a few different manta rays in there, and manta rays are things you can flip over that gets you extra coins or gets you extra power or things like that to help you get more cards. So, just a lot of cool new stuff to add into this great engine building game that is Aquatica. Asmodee, in association with Giochi Uniti, is releasing a bunch of expansions for the game Pathfinder Arena. So Pathfinder Arena came out earlier in September. I didn't include it in my best games coming to retail, partly because I knew I was going to be talking about it a bunch in this video, and that video was already very packed. So Pathfinder Arena plays 2 to 4 players in 60 to 80 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. It is a board game set in the Pathfinder RPG universe. You don't have to know anything about Pathfinder, but it is a very popular RPG system, and if you know about the storylines in Pathfinder, I'm sure you will find more to love in this game, right? There'll be fun connections and stuff like that. Pathfinder Arena is a game where you are each playing as heroes in sort of an arena battle, and you're fighting monsters. It is not cooperative, though. It is competitive. So you are kind of fighting monsters and fighting each other. And then during the game, there are 4 stages of challenges in a labyrinth. And in each stage, the number and the power of the monsters that you're fighting increases. But you can also level up your heroes and gather resources to gain new skills, magical equipment, magic spells, deity's favor. So you're sort of leveling up and then fighting harder and harder monsters. So that's the base game. And now we have actually 4 expansions for Pathfinder Arena. So there's a lot of content here. If you are interested in this game, if this sounds cool to you, then there's a lot of stuff to explore. We've got Pathfinder Arena, the final challenge. This adds 2 new epic monsters, the Pit Fiend Devil and the Drider. So just, each of the monsters comes with sort of asymmetric abilities and, different ways, different reasons that make it harder to kill and stuff like that. This expansion, the final challenge, also adds a unique potions mechanic. Discover new strategic depth with the potion expansion, offering consumable potion cards that grant unique powers to heroes and monsters alike. There's also event cards in this expansion, so that will sort of, change how you're going to play, because every round you draw 4 event cards, and each player is going to be affected by one of those event cards. So again, just a bunch of different cool stuff that isn't in the base game. We also have Pathfinder Arena Age of Ashes expansion. This enhances the core set's replayability by adding a new hero that you can play as, and all the heroes have different sort of powers and special abilities as well. It's also adding 4 new monsters: Skeletal Hellcrown, Charuka, Belmazog, and Dragon Shard Golem. They all come from the Age of Ashes storyline in Pathfinder, so if that's a particular story that you really want, this is an opportunity to bring those sort of elements into this Pathfinder Arena board game. So yeah, there's complex engine building mechanics, solo gameplay options. Yeah, most of these expansions are sort of 1 to 4 player expansions. Then we also have Pathfinder Arena Epic Challenge. This again adds a new hero, adds some new monsters. There are 5 new monsters in this box: Black Dragon, Goblin Pyro, Gargoyle, Nightmare, and Pharaoh Mummy. This one, the Epic Challenge expansion, also adds trap tiles, which adds a new mechanic to the game. They substitute some arena tiles and teach a new way to score points. As soon as you reach them, you roll the summoning die to check if the trap is active. Then you draw a trap card. And they pose you a challenge based on your ability modifiers, and if you succeed, you score more points. So if you like the idea of trap tiles, then that is in the Epic Challenge expansion. And then lastly, we have Pathfinder Arena Monsters of the Arena. This is actually just adding detailed miniatures to the game. So this adds 14 unique monster plastic figures. So if you want sort of upgraded components, better components, fancy minis for your game of Pathfinder Arena, you're going to find that in Monsters of the Arena expansion. All right, Asmodee and CMON are releasing a couple of expansions to Cthulhu Death May Die. In my Best Games Coming to Retail video, I talked about Cthulhu Death May Die Fear of the Unknown, which was a new core set to the game Cthulhu Death May Die. Cthulhu Death May Die is a dungeon crawl game where you are moving through, exploring, fighting bad guys, and doing it cooperatively. And then Fear of the Unknown included new scenarios, an updated rulebook, sort of an easier entry point. But one of the things about Cthulhu Death May Die is they are sort of standalone scenarios. So there's a bunch of replayability in playing different scenarios, but you can play different scenarios with different people, and you're not missing a ton of storyline if you're jumping in at different points. So first off, we'll talk about Cthulhu Death May Die Season 4 expansion. And both of these are compatible with, both of these expansions I'll talk about are compatible both with the original Cthulhu Death May Die that came out in 2019 or Fear of the Unknown, which came out in 2024. So this one, Season 4 expansion, brings a lot of content to expand your experience. There's a whole roster of unique investigators, 6 brand new episodes, introducing all manner of elements to the game, utilizing a new set of game tiles, and pitting a host of terrifying monsters in all shapes and sizes against the players. Plays 1 to 5 players, in 90 to 120 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. So if you like Cthulhu Death May Die, you want some new scenarios to play through, that sort of stuff, you can find it in this Season 4 expansion. We also have Cthulhu Death May Die Elder Box 1, Ithaqua, the Wind Walker. Plays 1 to 5 players in about 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. And again, this is compatible with both original Death May Die and Fear of the Unknown. This box brings a brand new Elder One for you to use in combination with any episode from any season, so it works with all the stuff, creating a whole new gaming experience as you try to vanquish the perils of the Windwalker and his Shantak followers. So adds 5 Elder One cards, 8 Mythos cards, 1 Ithaqua figure, so just a sort of a new bad guy to fight against in Cthulhu Death May Die. Next up, Direwolf Digital is releasing Clank Catacombs, Lairs and Lost Chambers expansion. So Clank is a great game, a sort of deck building game with a race mechanic where you are sort of rushing into parts of a dungeon, grabbing as much loot and treasure as you can, and then making it out before a dragon wakes up and burns you all up, and sort of you lose the game. And Clank, the original Clank, has been out for a while. Well, Clank Catacombs came out like 2 years ago, and instead of a set board, it was more of like a tile sort of dungeon crawl feel. So still that idea of you are deck building, making your deck stronger, exploring a dungeon and grabbing loot, but now it wasn't a preset board. You were adding tiles out and exploring the dungeon as you went, and every time you played, it could be a different configuration of tiles, a different map, different stuff like that. I should say plays 2 to 4 players in 45 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. So this is the first expansion to Clank Catacombs specifically. It adds a few different things. As the name suggests, there are lost chambers in the game. And in those, each chamber, it's new tiles that you're adding to the game that you shuffle into the stack and reveal at certain parts. And each of these new lost chambers comes with a unique power not found anywhere else in the game, in the dungeon. And so, you're still trying to collect trophies and stuff, but you're going to find unique things on these different lost chamber tiles. There's also an opportunity for fighting bad guys in layers. They'll be like living statues, and they will come up in these layers, and you can go fight them and gain points by defeating them. It's another way to gain points. There's also a number of new cards for the game. If you've sort of learned all of the cards in Clank Catacombs, then there's some new cards to explore and stuff like that here as well. Looney Labs is releasing Monty Python Fluxx, the Patsy Pack. Fluxx is a sort of ever-changing game, a small box card game, and as you play the game, the rules are always changing. The win conditions change. The amount of cards you can hold in your hand change, things like that. And it's silly and wacky and really ever-changing. Monty Python Fluxx is my favorite personal version of Fluxx because I grew up on Monty Python and I love everything Monty Python, and so it's the version of Fluxx I've always kept and the version of Fluxx that I always break out if I'm going to break it out. I should mention there's a lot of versions of Fluxx, and some of them are based on IPs and some of them are based on just concepts like math. So this is a card pack for Monty Python Fluxx specifically. It adds 8 new cards for Monty Python Fluxx, including King Arthur's steed, Patsy, the Bridge of Death, one of my favorite scenes from the movie. Sir not appearing in this game is now in it, so if you just want some new cards for your Monty Python Fluxx, you're going to find it in this Patsy pack. So that's all I got for you this month. Those are 9 expansions hitting retail in September. I will be back with more videos in October. You can find best new games coming to retail, best new additions, and best expansions all coming for me. I'm the retail guy, I guess so. I never really set out to be that, but it just kind of happened. And so I hope you found something that you like here. Thanks so much for joining me. Please like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. It really helps the channel grow. So thank you so much. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex.